before, and so like Tom mentioned, I do like to have very interactive presentations. So if you have questions, feel free to just shout out and ask your questions. There will be time at the end for some questions and answers as well. So I kind of like to tailor my presentation to whoever's in the room and whatever's going to be most effective. So again, I'm Allison Barber. I'm with Fight for Small, and Fight for Small is an initiative of InSource Code, so we're sister organizations. We help small businesses in central Indiana with their digital marketing. So whether that's your website, social media, getting found online, email, whatever that looks like for you, however you want to grow your business online. We spend a lot of energy and time in educating small businesses. So today we're going to talk about 14 secrets that can help you with social media growth and development, and then we'll go through some different tools you can use, how to plan your social media strategy, and then of course have some time at the end for questions and answers. So tip number one, or secret number one, is to limit your social media platforms. I always talk to small businesses about don't get in over your head. If you're just getting started with social media, just pick one platform that you think is going to relate most to your audience. If you're a photographer or a restaurant or something that has really great visuals, go with something like Instagram or Facebook. If you share a lot of really great information, you might want to go with something more like Twitter. So wherever your audience is and kind of whatever types of information that you put out, choose a platform around that and do that platform really well. Once you've accomplished and conquered that one platform, go ahead and stretch out into other platforms. The worst thing that you can do is set up every social media channel and then post nothing to any of them. Because what that does to the public is if somebody's looking for your service and they come to your Facebook page and there hasn't been an update for 6 to 12 months, then they start to wonder, are these people still in business? What's going on with these people? Why aren't they posting on their Facebook or Twitter or whatever account? The second tip is to use advanced search. So specifically on Twitter, this is a screenshot from Twitter where you can specifically search different keywords on different ways based on location, based on the attitudes. So for example, if you have a mechanic shop or you're selling cars and you search car accident near your, or car won't start near your zip code, you could get a bunch of tweets there that say, hey, it's such a frustrating morning, my car wouldn't start this morning, of course I'm late to work again. And then you could then reply to them, hey, so sorry to hear your car wouldn't start this morning. If you need somebody, we're happy to help, or I hope everybody's okay. I heard I saw you had an accident. If you need anything, let us know, something like that. But that takes the corporateness out of you, and then you become a real person to people. And that's what social media is all about, is really getting your brand personality to connect with people's personal personalities. Because after all, social media does have the word social in it. So you have to socialize on social media. Okay, the third tip is to use tools. How many of you guys have just unlimited amounts of time to devote to social media? Right? Okay, one person. For most small business owners, social media is the very bottom thing on their list of things to do. It's maybe right above like cleaning the toilets. Like, okay, I could make time to get on social media before I decide I want to clean the toilets. But so we recommend using some different tools that can help with that. So Hootsuite, Buffer, there's a couple other ones up here that you can actually schedule your posts to go out. So you don't actually have to be sitting at the computer and posting your tweets right away. You can say, okay, I want to post this tweet on Monday. I want to post this Facebook post on Tuesday. I want to, post this to Google Plus on Wednesday, or, any mix of that. So you can schedule things to go out just like you would schedule jobs, if you're a mechanic or your restoration company, you would schedule your guys to go out. You could actually schedule your social media to go out. That's very helpful in just making sure that you consistently have information put out there. Okay, number 4 is to keep it relevant. Again, I'll go back to this, and you probably hear me say this a couple times, is that social media is meant to be social. So if your audience is, young people on Facebook who have never purchased an album or never bought a CD, then talking about how great of a discount that you have on CDs is not relevant to them. They're not buying CDs. If you're talking, if you know that your audience is within a certain demographic range, maybe their income level is a certain level, and so you're a home remodeler, and they're all living in homes that are $100,000 to $150,000, but you're posting pictures about this huge outdoor kitchen and granite updates and $50,000 or $100,000 kitchen update, and their whole home is $100,000, it's not relevant to your audience. So you want to make sure that whatever you're posting is connecting with your customers, because when something connects with your customer, then they're more likely to talk about it or share it. Does that make sense? Okay, my very favorite thing to do on social media is ask questions. I want to caveat that and say, if you don't have an active following yet on social media, you're probably going to be putting questions out there and not getting a lot of answers to them. So until you really get your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever social media platform you're using, till you really get people that are engaging with you on that platform, I don't necessarily recommend posting a ton of questions, because what's worse than not having questions is having a lot of questions that have no responses to them. But this slide specifically is really nice. It's an example chart of different types of questions to ask. You know, everybody was like, hey, do you like our X3000 or our X2000 better? And people are like, I don't even know what an X3000 is. So this will kind of give you some different types of questions to ask and get your mind thinking in different ways. So this one specifically is about the Mozart Summer Festival fan page. So specific questions: what's your favorite string quartet? Yes or no questions, you know what a yes or no question is. Timely. Timely, like yesterday was Earth Day, so, what is the most memorable thing you did on Earth Day, or something like that, something that's very relevant and timely. Edgy, this one specifically: do you think music in the schools should be cut from public school budgets? You would be surprised how people jump on edgy topics. I mean, they want to get their voice out there, they have strong opinions, and they want people to know about it. And that's what social media is all about. So don't be afraid to get some more edgy questions out there. Photos are obviously always great. True or false questions is kind of nice to people feel like they're smarty pants when they get it right. So that's always fun to help people boost their egos. Direct, do you think people love or hate classical music? It's very direct, to the point. Preference, do you like this or this better? Make sure you put in some fun stuff. If you were stuck on a deserted island with one Mozart CD to listen to, what would it be? Promoting events, if you guys have events or you're going to events, feel free to post those out there. Maybe some people that you know would like to attend those too. Experience, what was your favorite moment from our all-Mozart piano concert last night? Humanistic, have you seen someone fall asleep at a classical music concert? That's kind of fun. And then tips, what is your favorite restaurant for before concert dining? Helping people to have a better experience engaging with your brand. Then the last one, if Mozart's, it's a Mad Lib, if Mozart's fill in the blank was on the concert program, I would not miss it for the world. So, I mean, that's just one example for one Facebook page or one Twitter account or whatever. But if you kind of take these, we actually do this with our social media as well, is take stuff like this and just kind of brainstorm with your team and then schedule it out with one of those tools, and then you've got a really great start to a social media plan. Tell people what to do. I am really surprised that I talk to small business owners a lot, and they're like, well, I posted that I had this going on or whatever, and nobody even went to my website and checked it out. Well, did they know it was on your website? Maybe they didn't even realize it was on your website. If you said, hey, we're having this special and there's a coupon out, but you don't say, look in Valpak or look in, you know, the local savings magazine, or check out our website, or click here to download. You kind of have to tell people exactly what to do. So don't be afraid to say, share this for a coupon, like if you're ready for spring to get here, you know, whatever. But don't be shy or afraid to actually say, here's what I want you to do. Again, this is similar, but add a call to action into your posts. Again, click here to download our free thing. You know, act now. I'm kind of against the act now phrase. It feels a little bit like an infomercial, like, and if you do it now, you're going to get a free ShamWow too. Like, not really. Exactly, but wait. So add a call to action, though, on your post. Don't be afraid to either tell people what to do, or, you know, throw in, if you're going to give them something really great for being a part of your social media base, and I think you should, don't be afraid to ask them and get them to take action. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. You can communicate something so much more deeply through a picture. It can elicit emotional responses. If you have an event, you know, showing a picture of who was at the event and how exciting it was, or if you have, we're working with a client right now who helps teens, you know, at-risk teens, and their current web platform has no pictures at all, even stock pictures. And that's such an industry that, you know, when people come to that website and they see people, you know, that have been helped, or even stock photos, you know, to respect people's privacy, but stock photos that show kids that are happy and healthy and, you know, living an upright life or whatever, that gets people wanting to get involved, wanting to donate, wanting to volunteer. So don't underestimate the power of pictures, and video for that matter too. Video is a little bit more difficult just because you have to have somebody that can shoot the video and it needs to be of decent quality, but don't underestimate the power of a picture. Okay, headlines are another thing. I know sometimes people are like, well, I'm not very creative. Well, ask somebody around you in your office that's creative, or, you know, take it home at night and ask your kids or your nieces or your nephews or your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever, or your neighbor or your dog, somebody. If you don't feel like you can come up with creative titles, ask somebody who can help come up with creative titles, because have you all seen, like, on Facebook or something where it's like, Mom saves the day and you won't believe how, or something like that, and you're like, I gotta know how she did it. Like, so if you can come up with something a little bit creative or catchy, I always love it when they're like, here's the top 10 list of places to see in Indianapolis. You won't want to miss number 4. And I'm like, what's number 4? I got to get and see what number 4 is. So don't underestimate the power of catchy headlines. I mean, sometimes we like to even do things where the headline seems like almost unrelated. It's not unrelated, but it just captures like a random fact from the event. So like today might be like, and the Panera bagels were great, or something like that. You know, it's like, what? Why did they even say that? So you kind of get people engaged in a way that they wouldn't necessarily expect to be engaged. So surprise them. So there was an email marketing company that was doing a whole bunch of these memes, and don't you wish your email was hot like mine? And so their audience clearly never thought that they were going to be referencing this girls band in their promotions. They had some other ones, I think, with like Ryan Gosling and, you know, all these different funny memes. And it really did a great job with their brand and getting people engaged with their brand and made it more memorable. So don't forget, I mean, don't be afraid to do something a little surprising or unexpected. Love it and list it. People love lists. Like, I don't know why. I think it's because it's easy to digest. They're not reading a whole article. They're just like getting the bullet points. Here's the top 10 list of, you know, reasons why you need to have your oil changed so your car doesn't die should be number 1. Or top 5 places you need to see, or, you know, lists, just lists. studies have shown that lists are so much more engaging. And again, you don't have to be as creative, back to the couple slides back, with your title. If you're like top 10 lists of the places that you need to see, people are like, oh, I got to see these places, right? You don't have to get that creative. The next one is be consistent. So if you post like once every month, that's probably not going to be exactly good. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? But it's really, really great when you can be consistent. And sometimes what I like to try to tell businesses to do is incorporate something where people expect and look forward to that post coming. So we did for a little while local lunch Mondays at our office. So every Monday we would go to a local restaurant. Our whole team would go to a local restaurant, and we would write a blog post about the food, the how our experience was, what we recommend on the menu. And clearly, I mean, we're not in the restaurant business, so it's not like we really needed to do that. But we do help serve small businesses. So from our perspective, it was like, hey, let's give these people a little bit more exposure online, have a great team lunch, and then give our readers something to look forward to. So if you can do something along those lines, another thing that we like to do, we haven't done it for a while, but Favorite Friday. So maybe like our favorite plugin that we use, which is something on your website, or favorite small business tool, or do what?
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, Throwback Thursday. We don't really do a lot of Women Crush Wednesday at our office or Man Crush Monday, but to each their own. Be surprising. Okay, 13 is timing. So it's important, and you can see up here the most active times for all the social media channels. I can always tell when a small business owner is managing a Facebook page because the posts are always from like 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. So it's like they get into the office and they're like, oh yeah, I was going to post something on my Facebook page today. And they post something like, our cleaning is the best. Send. 6:30 a.m. I'm like, okay, not very many people are on Facebook at 6:30 a.m. I mean, some people are, but you want to make sure that you're falling into the times when people are most active. And here's why. Not just because you want people to engage with your content. Yes, you do. But for Facebook specifically, their algorithms are very geared towards how engaged your audience is with your posts. So if you're consistently posting things and nobody's liking them, nobody's commenting on them, and nobody's sharing them, then even though you've worked so hard to get those people to like your page, they're not going to see it in their newsfeed. So it's kind of a double whammy with Facebook specifically. You have to work really hard to get them to like your page, and then you have to work really hard to get them to keep seeing information on your page. So that's why it's so important to figure out the timing of things that work well for your specific social media channel. We do a lot. Every month we'll just do a report of what posts and pictures and all of that was the most engaging. And surprisingly, we did a couple meme type things with our audience, and we threw in like a quote or two one month, and the quotes, like we were expecting the memes because they were funny to just like, oh, we're so clever and funny, and they're just going to share them and like them and comments like, oh my word, you guys are so funny. No, that didn't happen. Instead, they were all like loving the quotes. It was like, the biggest hindrance to being a small business is thinking like a small business or something like that. And oh my word, it got shared and it got liked and it got commented on. And so if we hadn't gone back and looked at our actual data and said, what is actually resonating with our audience, we probably would still be posting stupid memes and not really posting as many quotes, which would have hurt how many people actually see our content moving forward. Does that make sense?
There's also on Facebook, they have a way that you can look on your analytics and see where everybody is when your users are on.
Yes.
So for instance, one of my clients, it's not like until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, some of them are 1 to 4, but
yeah.
You just want to make sure you.
Yes, but yeah, certainly, different audiences have, or different pages have different audiences. But, my point of I can tell when a small business owner is doing it. If you looked at LinkedIn, it's 7 to 9 a.m. So it fits when they should really be posting to their LinkedIn page. They shouldn't be posting on their Facebook page. So timing. The last one is to don't be afraid to use what you've got. I talk to people a lot that say, gosh, I just don't have anything that I would like to post or that would be post-worthy to my social media or my website or whatever. And I'm sitting across the desk from them, and they have a whole wall of awards. You know, Super Service Award from Angie's List, Better Business Bureau Award, all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, really? That's weird. Or like a plaque with them having been written up in the Indy Star or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I could see why you don't have anything that would be worth posting. Like, do you see this wall? And then another thing that I like to talk to organizations about is people like to know other people. So I always encourage people to highlight their employees. Once or twice a month, post a picture of an employee and say, hey, this is Joe. He's our customer service manager, or he's our accountant. And I always say post something that even their friends probably don't know about them that they are comfortable sharing. So what's your name? How long have you been with the organization? What's your role? You know, what do you like to do? And what's something people don't know about you? And it makes for a really engaging, fun little post. And mommies and grandmas and wives and everybody love to share them because they're like, oh, my husband got highlighted on his company Facebook page. And it's, again, some things you wouldn't think, but it really does do that. Okay, so this is a very, very, very basic, anybody can do it type plan. And I just did it I did this one in Excel, and it's very basic, but it's fairly easy to follow. So on the left-hand column, we went through and put in what we were actually going to be posting. And this is really great if you're creating social media plans for somebody else to implement. I've worked with a couple small businesses, and I'm like, basically what I just said, like, highlight your employee. And they're like, this is Joe. All right, cool. Wow, that's so interesting. So I like to make sure that when we are working with somebody, we give them specific information. Like on my team, I had a new social media guy start, a new content guy starting, and at first I was kind of giving him specific directions as far as what exactly to post, and then as he learned and started posting, he actually really enjoys making the social strategy now. But it's helpful for you to A, know and approve what's going out, and B, not have to do it all yourself. It takes maybe an hour, depending on how witty and creative and well you know your business, probably take maybe an hour to do a month or a quarter of planning. So what I do here is figure out exactly what you're going to be posting word for word, what date you want it to be posted, what platform you're going to post it to, and then any links or notes. So for example, if you're going to post something that you want a link to go through or to link to something, I'll put the link over in this column. If you're going to post a video or a photo, I'll put that link over here. The other thing that I'll put over here is like for a note, make sure that, I don't know, make sure you've interviewed the actual person you're highlighting, or, you know, whatever. Call the client before we post this to let them know it's actually going to be going up today, or remind them that it's going to be going up today. So specifically if you have somebody else managing this, notes is a nice way to kind of give them a little added direction outside of what you've set up initially. Those are my tips. One thing I do want to add to the presentation is that advertising on social platforms is fairly new, and or it's come a long way since its inception. So if you're looking to grow your social media platforms, I would suggest doing some advertising, because you can get, for instance, on Facebook, I mean, we've seen getting new likes for as little as 5 and 10 cents a like, which is like, you can't beat that. So what that does is it does get people in your specific demographic, area of reach, and all of that stuff engaged with your brand. But then it also, when somebody goes to your Facebook page and you have 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 likes and your competitors have 10 or 20, they're like, these people must be doing something right because look at all these people that will like their Facebook page. So you can target, specifically on Facebook, you can get crazy. I like to call them creeper ads because, I mean, you can really, really get specific as far as, you know, age, income, things they like, hobbies, schools they went to, are they married, are they divorced, are they single, do they have dogs? I mean, you know, you can get really, really detailed. Things that even AdWords on winning search quite haven't caught up to, and you'll spend a whole lot more money on search ads than Facebook ads. So, and then Twitter ads, it's like you just do promoted tweets and they show up in feeds of people, which is really great too. But I know all small businesses don't have budgets to do stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. If you do have a little bit of marketing budget to play with and you want to grow your social media a little bit more aggressively, I would definitely look into some ads. So any questions? So I like to lean on the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your content should not be selling, and 20% of it could be promoting your business. And when I say promoting your business, I don't necessarily mean like a hard sell. Going back to what is the point of social media anyway, and that is, thank you, that's connecting with people that are in your audience or customers. And so you wouldn't go up to somebody on the street and be like, hey, have you heard about our new coupon? Right? You'd be like, hey, how are you? Hey, did you hear about, you know, whatever was going on and blah, 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 blah. And then when they say, hey, you know what, I've been meaning to get my car fixed. Well, you know we have a 10% off coupon going on right now, right? So you're going to kind of throw that in when it's appropriate. And so when it's appropriate is like 10 or 20% of the time on Facebook or Twitter or social media. At the same time, though, be relevant, share information that's relevant to them to help them understand why they need your products and services. Sometimes people don't understand that they need your products and services, but do it in a way that's not like, but wait, there's more, ShamWow. Share content, free content, great content that's easy to digest, pictures, lists, photos, blah, 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 all that. I would say that you need to post at least a couple times a week, I would say at the minimum. Now, it depends who your audience is too. Sometimes people are like 55 plus, they're getting on social media maybe once or twice a day. My husband's a youth pastor, so I follow some of our teens on Twitter, and it's like diarrhea of the Twitter account on there. I mean, they're tweeting every 2 seconds, it seems like. I just got to school. Oh my word, did you see that at school? Okay, now I'm going into class. And I'm like, I really do not need to know all of these details of your life. So it kind of depends on who your audience is. The other thing that I do like to recommend is giving people an insider look at what's going on in your organization. If you're having a big event, sometimes posting pictures of like event setup, or here's all the promo items, the really cool promo items that we have for this event. You're not going to want to miss these type of thing. If they're on your social media platform, they might get to see it before anybody else gets to see it. And that's all stuff that you don't really have to work to create content. You just kind of snap a picture. So I wouldn't get too hung up on, you know, I have to post every single day, but I would make it an effort to at least every couple days. It seems like every day that demographics are changing on social media. But there's demographics out there as far as who the majority of users are for each platform. For instance, Facebook is trending gradually older. So if you have an older demographic, Facebook might be a great place for you to be, which 5 years ago I would have never said that. But that's just the way that the market is shifting. LinkedIn clearly is professionals. So if you have content that's maybe HR services or accounting services, some professional services or you're selling B2B, LinkedIn might be a really great place to be engaged in some of their groups and make sure you have a presence there and you're posting information there. Instagram is more geared towards younger people, older young people, I would say. Young to older young. I don't know if that makes sense.
Tread lightly with that.
Exactly. But, you know, doing research around what you're specifically doing. And then again, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you have something that's very visual, I would suggest Instagram or Facebook, places where there's a little bit more visually driven. Facebook is very difficult if you're just going to be posting status updates. The algorithm that Facebook uses, they give higher preference to videos and photos. So if you're just going to be posting text, you're not going to be seen as much unless people are just highly engaged in your content consistently for a long time. Then you're like, people got to have this stuff. Then you can post whatever you want. But for the most part, videos and photos get a higher exposure on Facebook. We have a couple clients who do like home renovation that it could be beneficial to, you know, I'm looking for my dream kitchen type thing. Or we do have some people that sell products. So like one person I'm thinking of sells essential oils, and that's like going crazy on Pinterest. You know, what I can make my own baby diapers or whatever, wipes with essential oils. And all these stay-at-home moms that are Pinteresting all day are like, oh my gosh, I can't use Huggies anymore. I got to make my own wipes. So stuff like that, you know, is a little bit more prevalent in Pinterest, but it's one of those things where it hasn't been business focused long enough to really have a lot of case studies where there's really, really high value for organizations. It's not one that we recommend a lot. The other thing that we will do sometimes is try to integrate, like for example, we have a lot of clients that are in home industries, you know, remodelers, roofers, whatever, and they'll have like house.com accounts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but other websites that are basically aggregators, similar to an Angie's List or something, but it's like a lookbook for homeowners, the house.com is. And what we'll do is we'll embed like those photo galleries into their websites so that they're only updating pictures in one place and it's kind of going out to multiple different channels, which you could then integrate into Pinterest or whatever as well. The largest users that I've seen from my experience of LinkedIn are people who are looking for jobs, people who are executive headhunters, or people that are looking for funding. Or looking to grow their business substantially. They're using it to get something out of it. It's not something that people, like I have a LinkedIn account and I'm not really active on it. I do get on there every once in a while. I'll, you know, connect with people, basically use it as like if I meet somebody, I'll say, hey, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. But I don't get on there every day and like read the feeds like I would another social media account or channel. A lot of people use it for research too. So the groups, if you're a part of groups, it's nice to engage with people. I was working with a client that was doing some phone campaigning. It was a tool to do like at-home phone banks for political candidates. So you get all these campaign managers specifically on mayoral or gubernatorial campaigns that either have never done it before or they haven't had a lot of experience. So they'll get onto these channels or groups or whatever on LinkedIn and say, hey, what have you found to be the best here? So that was a good opportunity for them to get in and say, hey, you know, we've helped so-and-so with such and such. We also recommend X, Y, and Z. You know, so you can kind of show some expertise with groups on LinkedIn, but it's a little bit more difficult to control from a marketing perspective. It's more like, hey, I need you to take initiative and get on and join these groups. And when you get a notification that a new question's been posted or a new comment has been added, you need to go on and check it out and make sure. So it's a little more tedious. We have a client who does baseball recruiting, trying to recruit high school kids get recruited for college, and Facebook is working phenomenal for them. You know, we've got them taken to a landing page that's get your free evaluation to see if you're able to be recruited. Facebook, so they see the ads on Facebook, drives them to the website. When they get to the website, it drops a cookie. Every time they go back to Facebook, they see the ads again. So it's working very, very well for them. It's a very good return on their investment. I wouldn't say that that's going to work for a B2B or even a B2C product. That's more of a service. So that's working very well for that market. We have a cell phone repair company that we're working with, and we're focusing a lot of energy on search engine optimization for them. So not necessarily social for them, because if somebody drops their phone, they're going to go straight to Google and say, where can I get my phone fixed? So it's really trying to target what are their objectives, who are their audience, what are their behaviors, and then kind of targeting it from there. So I mean, it's very difficult to say, you know, specifically. I know exactly how that's going to work. But I would go back to the audience, and once you get your audience profile, then figure out, you know, the biggest thing that small business owners don't usually start with is what does success look like? So, I mean, I can put you on Facebook all day long and get you 1 million likes, but if you're not getting any dollars out of it, you know, what does success look like in your mind? When we finish this campaign, or when we finish, you know, this plan, what's going to make you say, oh my gosh, I've got to hire you again? So if success for you looks like more jobs, then you're going to say, did you get more jobs? And I always like to go back to what you learn in college or business classes is SMART objectives. Are they realistic, you know, timely, achievable, measurable? And I forget what the S is, but you know, you got to make sure you can't just say, I want to grow my business. Well, I mean, I can help you grow your business, but from my perspective, I always like to do a lot of the front end work and say, okay, tell me specifically, if you could have one type of customer all day long, what would that one customer look like? What's the very best customer you could have? And somebody might say, oh, that's easy, that's a roofing job. Or, oh, that's a kitchen remodel. Or, hey, that's, you know, somebody that needs their whole house redone. Or they might say, hey, we just want to do front doors. Or, you know, we need somebody that wants to buy a service for $20 a month or $100 a month. So once you can get down to like, what's your very most profitable thing that you do? And let's build your campaigns and your objectives around that. And then we do a lot of measuring how much are they paying, like if we do advertising for them, how much are they paying per conversion or per click, whatever they're looking to accomplish. Is traffic to their website going up? Are they staying on their website longer? Are they engaging with content on social platforms? You know, we just have a lot of different metrics that we like to use as indicators, and those are some of them. How long are they staying on websites? What does their bounce rate look like, which is when they come to your website, do they leave immediately? The higher the bounce rate, the worse usually. That being said, your homepage is almost always going to have a high bounce rate. Just throw that out there. People are like, I got to get this bounce rate down. Or your contact us page. Once they get your contact us page, they're probably going to contact you and then leave. So it's okay if they leave from a contact us page. So those are some of the different metrics. I don't know if that answers the question. I usually say give it a good 3 to 6 months. Now that being said, if you're bleeding money, if it's not working at all, then you probably need to try something else. What we like to do specifically with clients that we're working with is we do a monthly, basically, evaluation of everything we're doing. You know, when we started the month, this is where you were at. When we finished the month, this is where we're at. This is how many people have submitted the form on your website. This is how many people have engaged with your content. This is how many clicks you got. You know, this is what the clicks were for. This is how much it cost. Here's the people that filled out the form. Tell me about them. Did you close them as leads? Were they good leads? Were they bad leads? Do you feel like when people are calling you, they're just price shopping? When they're calling you, are they ready to buy? You know, trying to get into some of those metrics that are a little bit more touchy-feely, but at the end of the day are really going to be better value. I don't know if that makes sense. So I always like to ask small business owners, do you realistically think you have time to do it? And if the answer is with any hesitation, then I would say have somebody else do it. I would not just have somebody else random do it, like that's in your office, if you don't feel like take a look at their social media profiles. If they have a lot of really funny things that are really engaging and people seem to really think they're great, you might say, hey, why don't you try it and maybe do a little plan for them to start out at first and see how it goes. And as far as hiring it out, there's times where we recommend people hiring it out. I would say that I would make sure I would interview whoever's going to be doing it to make sure that they are getting your brand personality involved. We have a gym, a private gym that we work with in Indy, and he was Mr. Indiana in 2014, and so he has like no treadmills in his gym. He's all about gym intimidation. He's like, get all the haters out of here. No gym intimidation here. Like, when you go to the gym, there's all the skinny or like really fit people that are on the treadmill, just like, oh my gosh, I'm working out so hard on the treadmill or whatever. He's like, no, that's not us. So we've really worked to get his brand personality and his ads. One of his ads, he's like huge, crazy, because he was Mr. Indiana. And he's like this pointing to a poster, and it's like a old-fashioned pinup, and it says, I went on a 14-day diet and all I lost was 14 days. So one of his ads is like, lose more than 14 days with, our gym or whatever. And it's funny because he's this huge burly guy, and he's like, but he had posted it to his Instagram account. So we worked to say, okay, let's capture what his gym members are identifying with and enjoying and bring that into some of his ads and into some of his content and make sure that we're really supporting his personality and not just something that we think is going to work. So I would make sure that whoever you're talking to is really going to pull in your personality of your brand or help pull out the personality of your brand from you guys. Sometimes people are like, I don't know what my brand personality is yet. You should see a number on there that says seen by.
Right. I get
So
hundreds of them.
hundreds. Okay.
400 or 500.
Okay. Well, when you think, are you a Facebook user? Do you have Facebook anyway?
Yes.
So when you're thinking of scrolling through your Facebook, I like maybe 1 in 20 pictures, right? So the likelihood of somebody seeing it and liking it every single day is probably very, very low. So, 10s or 20s on hundreds of people seeing it is probably not really that terrible of an engagement. It's just, you just need to know that people are probably not getting on Facebook and being like, I cannot wait to see what the daily picture is. That's a lot of what people are, that's why I think a lot of younger people and savvy people, like you, Tom, and you also fit in the young category too, are moving away from Facebook because they can't control what they see. Like, they have a lot of friends that they don't see anything from them because they might not interact with their content as much, but they still want to see it. So Google or Facebook is really, I think, working to figure out how they can balance, paid content versus business content versus personal content. When you have thousands and thousands and thousands of friends on there, getting through all of that content, it's like you would get back 2 hours by the time you were done on Facebook. So that's why they kind of pick and choose whatever is either the most popular content in your network or people that you've engaged with the most. The last point is to use what you've got. And if you're producing great blog content, you can absolutely repurpose that to your Facebook page and your Twitter account and email, e-newsletters, and bringing them all back in to your website is always great. And one note that's not related to social media, but it's absolutely relevant, is Google just changed their algorithm for mobile search, and that is huge, huge, huge impact. We've seen our clients, the cell phone repair company that I was talking about, his website had a mobile version and a desktop version, but it doesn't fall within the guidelines of what Google considers mobile now, which is like, okay. So we're actually working to spin him to a new website that's going to be more, it's actually a responsive website because his organic traffic literally dropped in half. And they've been doing these, it officially went out last week, but if you look at your organic traffic, I would say probably towards the end of February. We've seen a lot of our clients start dropping off towards the end of February. So what I would recommend is going back, if you have Google Analytics installed on your account, look from January to now and take a look at just the organic search and see how that changed. And it is just for mobile search, but a majority of people have around 50% of mobile traffic to their site. The cell phone repair company had 63%. So, I mean, it was a huge, 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 huge percentage of their business. So it's very important for them to get that figured out. My very favorite way is to ask their audience. Just say, hey, you know, and you'll see if people are like, oh, I want to be friends with you on Facebook, or, you know, hey, I saw this on Twitter, or, you know, don't underestimate the value of just surveying your customers. You know, hey, you're a really great customer. Would you mind if I asked you a couple questions to try to attract other great customers like you? You know, that's what I always go back to that. I'd be careful with saying capturing information from them, because that, I mean, I always like to say that you want to make sure that you can provide the content that they want in the ways that they want it. So just because you have their email address doesn't mean that they want you to send them a newsletter every day or every week or every month. Maybe they don't really care about your newsletter. And if they don't care about your e-newsletter, then you don't want them on your email list, because your open rates are going to go down, your click-through rates are going to go down, and then your deliverability rates are going to go down. So the end goal in all marketing for small businesses is engagement. So gone are the days of just having numbers, likes, and my list is 10,000 people long, but only 2,000 of them are ever even opening it. Well, those internet or mail service providers are saying, hey, these people aren't even sending these emails to relevant people. So they start kind of knocking you down a little bit. So I would say provide as much great content as you can for people where they want to have content. Now, we will always collect email addresses from our clients, and we'll send them client updates. So we have a mailing list for client updates. Hey, we're doing maintenance today, or hey, we have this class coming up, or hey, you know, whatever. And that's a little bit different as far as they're already paying customers of ours versus, hey, I saw you at a networking event, and now you're going to become one of my newsletter subscribers, and you're going to get to hear all the great things that I can do for you. So I don't discourage people from doing e-newsletters, but I do encourage them to make sure that people have expressly provided interest in being on that newsletter before they add them to that email list. Any other questions? Are we thoroughly overwhelmed? Thank you so much.